Hello, football tribers. It's been a minute. Your usual suspect, Robert K. Sarkos, is back to your lovely channel. Hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're enjoying the football preseason. Players that were participating in the Copa America and the Euros up to the latter stages are starting to flow back in their respective camps, although some are still on holiday, especially those that did reach their finals. So your favorite teams are engaged in plenty of action as far as preseason preparations are all concerned. Uh, Many of the Premier League teams they are in the USA having their engagements. That's including Liverpool, Bournemouth, Arsenal, Manchester United, Man City. So yes, they are out there having their preseason. Like I did say, they are welcoming back players. Preseason is well into high gear as we edge closer to the resumption of uh, full football seasons, with the Premier League set to return on the 15th of August when Manchester United play Fulham. But before that, I think on August 11th, that will be a Sunday, they will have to play Manchester City in the FA Community Shield that is played between the winner of the Premier League title and the FA Cup. So do look out for that fixture as it edges closer, as we edge closer to the start of the new month. That's of August. I think it will get underway next week on Thursday. So anyways, I do hope you're enjoying it all. Like I did say, we are having plenty of action. Yesterday, we did have Arsenal play Manchester United, I think in LA. So I didn't get to watch that game because it was on deep in the night. And then, but I was able to catch some highlights. Very, very beautiful game of football. It looked to have been Arsenal welcoming back some of their players in camp, in Kai Havertz, in Gabriel Martinelli and Gabriel Magalhaes. Bukayo Saka is not yet back in camp, but was spotted around the LS sites there. He's still on holiday. Then Manchester United did have their new signing in Lenny Euro feature in that particular game, although he did go off injured. Joshua Zirkzee was not involved, just as much as Emil Smith-Rowe was not involved for the side of Arsenal. And I'll be letting you know on why that was the case. But anyway, Arsenal did win the game by 2 goals to 1. Rasmus Højlund on target for the Red Devils to open the scoring, while it was Gabriel Jesus that scored on the other end to restore parity, I think, with Ethan Nwaneri providing the assist there for the Gunners. And then, of course, second half a substitute in Gabriel Martinelli squad to win it all for the Gunners there as they faced off with their arch nemesis in Manchester United. It was a very beautiful game, very entertaining, although some players did get injured, like I did say, Lenny Euro suffered an injury. That one, Johnny Evans did limp off following what appeared to be a bad tackle. Thomas Partey, it was a bit of a stamp on his foot there as Thomas Partey slid in to try and win the ball. Then Rasmus Højlund did have what he described to be a suspected hamstring injury. So that was the kind of the picture in there. But very, very beautiful game of game to watch. There were a lot of promising signs for either teams to look forward to. Despite the loss, of course, there were many positives to take away as Manchester United continue to rebuild their squad ahead of next season. I think Amadou Diallo could be a crucial player for Manchester United going into next season. If then you have a rejuvenated Marcus Rashford, then Joshua Zirkzee to join Rasmus Højlund in that forefront. You hope to have a fully fit Mason Mount to help that team. It looks like Christian Eriksen could be staying. We'll wait and see how that all spans out. So yes, they continue to build their squad. That's why, as far as transfers are to go, they are not yet done with the transfer market. Their defender in Victor Lindelof was a year left to his contract. He's a wanted man by plenty of clubs in Europe, but they are yet to decide on that. But United are still interested in signing Matthias De Ligt or Gerard Braithwaite. At least one of the two defenders could end up at Old Trafford come next season as they continue to beef up their squad. Then, of course, Aaron Wan-Bissaka very, very much involved in the thick of action as far as Manchester United's Preseason goals, is a wanted man by West Ham, although the two parties are yet to agree to terms in terms of player valuation. So do not be surprised if Aaron Wan-Bissaka follows out to the exit. Should that deal happen for Aaron Wan-Bissaka to West Ham, should it happen, it is reported that Manchester United will be looking to Inter Milan's Denzel Dumfries, the Dutch international, to come in and replace the departure of Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Nonetheless, United are still interested in signing Manel Agate Ribeiro, the 23-year Uruguayan midfielder, is a targeted man for Manchester United. It's currently at PSG, and it is reported that Paris Saint-Germain will be willing to sell, but for a significant fee, which could be somewhere in the region of £60 million. So that deal is still under negotiation. I think on the player side, there seems to be a green light for United, but the two clubs are yet to sit down on the round table to discuss terms and conditions of the deal. But that's what is being reported, that somewhere between £60 million or so could be enough to get the deal done. Whilst still speaking on these two arch rivals, Arsenal are edging closer to completing the deal of Riccard Calafiori, one of the longest transfer sagas for this summer, because it has dragged on quite a while. He did fly from Roma over the weekend to London to have his medical, while he will complete his second part of the medical in the United States when he flies over to join the rest of the Arsenal squad. And once that deal is closed for about £42 million, that is between Bologna and Arsenal, it is reported that then Arsenal will switch their focus to trying to sign Mikel Merino from Real Sociedad. The Spanish 28-year-old midfielder is an appreciated man for Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta. It's reported that his camp, the players' camp, and Arsenal have already had conversations, and they do have the green light there to go ahead and negotiate with the club for the signature of the player. But of course, like we've discussed before on this particular platform, there's interest from other clubs, but I think if once the bids start coming in, then Arsenal are likely to win that race, given that they were the early birds. But anything can change as far as transfers go. Then it is also reported that the Gunners are interested in signing a PSG midfielder, that is Fabian Ruiz. The former Napoli midfielder is a wanted man, an appreciated man at Arsenal. Remember, he was starting ahead of Mikel Merino for Spain in the Euros and did quite incredibly well. However, at PSG, he has not had regular football, so he could be looking for a place elsewhere for his future. So look out for that deal as well. Then, still speaking matters Arsenal, then, like I did mention, Emile Smith-Rowe was not involved in the game against Manchester United, and neither was he involved in that one against FC Bournemouth earlier on in a Preseason in the US, because he is a wanted man by Fulham. It is reported that the two clubs are close to agreeing a deal of about £35 million and for the player to move to Fulham. He's still with the Arsenal squad in the USA because the deal there's some details to iron out. I think perhaps on the player side or payment terms or something like that, and then he will make that move. Still, on Arsenal move aways, Eddie Nketiah is an appreciated man by Olympique Marseille, but then the two clubs are yet to agree to terms in terms of valuation. Arsenal do value their player for about between 40 to 50 million euros, while Marseille are only willing to pay up about 20 million euros, and they are asking for a loan with an option to buy. So it looks like there is a huge disparity between the valuation of the two clubs for the player. And this has been not helped with the situation that John Duran could make the switch from Aston Villa to West Ham for a reported fee of about £40 million. So that got some voices agitated within the Arsenal fans camp in regards to the valuation of Arsenal's Eddie Nketiah and in comparison to John Duran, who could join West Ham from Aston Villa. And then, of course, there is the question of Jakub Kiwior. Should Calafiori be locked in? It is reported that Inter Milan, AC Milan, and Juventus will discuss all this all summer, that they are interested in signing Jakub Kiwior, but whether they'll make bids for him, we'll wait to see on how that spans out. Arsenal are also reported to be having interest in signing Nico Williams, but then Barcelona lead on that front, so it is reported that they have switched their sights to Rafinha, who is also wanted by Aston Villa. But before Aston Villa make any moves there, I think they are still in negotiations with Atletico Madrid over the possible signing of João Felix. Remember, this has to they do have to sign at least a winger, because they did let go of Musa Diaby, who did join Al Ittihad there in Saudi Arabia for a fee in the region of 55 million euros plus. So let's keep an eye on all those deals and see how it all happens. Moving away from those two gigantic Premier League clubs, we'll switch sides to Manchester City, who lost to AC Milan, I think by 3-2 in their preseason friendly there in the US. Ederson Morales, one of those featuring in that team, despite all the increasing reports that he is a wanted man in Saudi Arabia, and it is reported that Pep Guardiola won't be standing in his way should he really want to leave. It is reported that they will trust that Stefan Ortega can step in those shoes of Ederson Morales and be the number one goalkeeper for Manchester City should Ederson Morales proceed with that move to Saudi Arabia. However, Pep Guardiola does continue to say that Kevin De Bruyne is not for sale, despite reports that he would be open to a move to the Saudi Pro League. Remember, these players, especially those that have approached their 30s, they look at the Saudi Pro League as a cash cow for them, where they can go and make that money ahead of retirement. So do not be surprised if anything really happens with some of these big players. Of course, that still speaking Saudi Pro League, of course, we did mention Romelu Lukaku, who is a Chelsea player, but he's wanted by Napoli. But then Napoli want to first move on Victor Osimhen before they sign Romelu Lukaku. Remember, Napoli are now under the charges of his former boss, Antonio Conte, who managed him at Chelsea and also at Inter Milan. So we'll wait to see how that goes. Then Napoli's Victor Osimhen is of course interest to PSG, who are leading that race, although they are not willing to pay his release clause that is believed to be in the region of about 120 million euros. The likes of Chelsea, Arsenal and Manchester United look to have taken a step back on that deal because of the asking fees. And then, still speaking matters, PSG, they are close to agreeing a deal of about 70 million euros plus a player to sign João Neves from Benfica. Remember, we did speak about João Neves earlier on in the transfer window when he was linked with a move to Arsenal, although the deal proved to be a little too expensive for the Gunners. So PSG are in the thick of that, and that deal could really happen. Perhaps next week should negotiations be expedited as we edge closer to the start of the respective campaigns across Europe. Returning back to Man City, of course, they still do hold interest in signing Pedro Neto, and a few other players, although they don't seem too strong in the market. I think it will depend on, some of them will depend on their departures and things of that nature. But their player in Calvin Phillips has voiced concerns that he does want to exit Manchester City for good. Remember, he's still contracted with the club, and there are teams like Aston Villa and Everton that do want him on loan, perhaps with an option to buy, but he says he wants a permanent move away from the Etihad Stadium. Then the other key reports that are making rounds in recent times is Julian Alvarez of Manchester City. Manchester City do not want to sell, but like I did say, when a player wants to leave, Pep Guardiola doesn't stand in their way. We've seen it with the likes of Zinchenko, Gabriel Jesus. We've seen it with the likes of João Cancelo, moving them on. So Cole Palmer last summer, although I think Manchester City won't be keen to selling to any Premier League club, despite interest from Chelsea and Arsenal for Julian Alvarez. However, it is reported that if any club does want to sign the Argentine 24-year-old forward, it would cost them a fee in the region of £77 million or so. So clearly, it would be an expensive deal for either club that may want to sign him. Earlier on in the summer, it was reported that PSG were the ones leading in the pursuit for the Argentine international. So we'll keep an eye on that deal as well to see how things go forward. Liverpool are interested in signing German defender Bremer, the 27-year-old defender who is currently at Juventus. So keep an eye on that deal as well. Then allow me run you through all the other gossip that is making the rounds, at least for today. Some of it is not just really gossip. For example, Cliche Inacho is on the verge of joining Sevilla following the expiration of his contract at Leicester City. The 27-year-old Nigerian international is going to end up in the Spanish La Liga should nothing change at this stage of a negotiation, because it is believed that personal terms have been agreed in principle. Then Chelsea are on the verge of completing the signing of the goalkeeper Philip Jurgensen, that is from Villarreal. Remember, Chelsea were condemned, I think, to a 4-1 defeat by Celtic in one of their pre-season friendlies. I think Enzo Maresca has started to feel the heat. As far as the Chelsea's incomings go, they're bringing in plenty of players, some who will even remain with their clubs for the foreseeable future, but they are really making moves in the market there. So in the other reports that are making rounds, still PSG are also eyeing to upset the move for Nico Williams from Atletico Bilbao, who is yet to make a decision on his future in regards to where he wants to play. But like we've mentioned on this channel before, usually Spanish players tend to prefer to stay in Spain when there are better deals for them. That's why you've seen that not much steam has come out of that potential deal of Martin Zubimendi to Arsenal. We all know that if a player is coming from a lesser club, they would prefer to go to Barcelona or Real Madrid if it gives them the option to stay in Spain. And then, of course, it is reported that Liverpool and Tottenham are interested in pursuing Arsenal target Victor Gyokeres. There, the 26-year-old Sporting Lisbon striker is a wanted man. But anyway, that's the gist of the transfer reports and news that are making rounds in recent days. But we'll give you a wrap up on some of those deals in the not so distant future. Just keep it on the channel. If you're new here, do not forget to subscribe to the channel, like, share, and comment. And I'll see you next time. Stay blessed.